This is Neo Belmont with a new video. Netflix has recently shown a new trailer for Onimusha, which is amazing. I'm going to try to do my best to talk about what I've seen in the trailer, what I think about it, analyze it, and discuss it, of course. I can't wait to talk about this. I'm very, very excited. I'm not going to wait anymore. Let's get right into it. As the beginning of the trailer shows, we see a very quick opening scene showing Capcom as well as featuring Toshiro Mifune. The Onimusha series was known for having famous actors be the main character, whether alive or dead. In the first and third game, Takashi Kaneshiro played as Samanosuke Akechi. The deceased actor in 2 was known as Yusaku Matsuda, and he was the main character, Yagu Jubei. And for international appeal, Jean Renault co-starred as Jean Blanc alongside Takashi Kaneshiro. Every game, the actors were treated with a lot of respect, and I have a feeling it's going to be no different with Mifune. Soon after, we see the title screen that says Onimusha, and we see basically Mifune as Miyamoto Musashi in a 3D art style that's cell shaded alongside a very beautiful 2D background. It gives a lot of life and diversity, I feel, into the trailer and the animation style, and I feel like it's going to benefit a lot for the viewers. So we see Musashi basically in a temple finding what looks like their guards with 2 monks looking on, and very quickly Miyamoto quickly handles them no problem, and then we get more of the story, which is him basically having a mission to guard this box or maybe deliver it somewhere, but he only has 33 days. And really, that's where we start the beginning of this story, and we go on into the next scene of the trailer. And next, we have the other main character, a girl that talks about how her mother and father were kidnapped and how her village was destroyed, essentially. And going on, moving forward, she asks Musashi if he's going to keep his promise of killing the samurai that did this. And, it then transitions to most likely the same samurai that, actually committed all those acts. What's interesting is that the mindset of this character is very much so a negative view of the samurai in general, that they're miserable and pitiful, and that they should be pretty much eliminated or exterminated from this world. And then we have a little quick segment of the forest changing its shape. I don't know how that works, but typically, if I remember, in Onimusha, the appearance of the very specific kinds of monsters really gives it a demonic, landscape. Or maybe the forest itself supernaturally just changes. But more importantly, I believe it was the girl that said that, so I believe she has a very unique gift. So that might actually come into play throughout the series. Next, we see Musashi holding the box, and then fighting a bunch of the other monsters, which I know the name and I'm going to explain it later. I'm just holding off on it for right now. And then, what really got me was this scene right here. It looked like a bunch of the villagers are being converted into monsters, which I don't really recall that happening in Onimusha at all. Now, I didn't play Onimusha for the Game Boy Advance, Onimusha Tactics, so I don't know if they got it from that or if this is an original plot, but for the most part, this seems to be completely new. And then now we go on to the gauntlet. The gauntlet is basically what Musashi will use to fight the monsters in this series. It's going to help him basically get the edge. And from this point on, you're going to see it throughout the whole trailer. Right now, you see Musashi fighting a bunch of monsters in a village, and the girl's very worried, but Musashi basically tells her to be at peace because he's very confident. Look at that smile. That's the face of a man who will not lose. Very confident. He will not I won't let them lay a finger on you. Pretty good stuff. And after this, we have more action scenes with him and his gauntlet against this really weird looking demon dude with extended arms. And it looks really good, the gauntlet, because it sticks out. It's purple, and amongst the graphics, I think it helps make it stand out. And with Miyamoto Musashi looking a little bit, I don't want to say mute, but he's definitely not sticking out like in the color department with his outfit, with his clothes, so it just helps make it stick out even more. And then some things I want to notice is that we have a foreigner with a firearm shooting, and then we see the girl get kidnapped by a ninja. Very interesting, more nature shots. Musashi smashing a weapon in two with his fist, because the gauntlet is actually pretty powerful. And then one scene in the whole trailer that made me happy was the burning village scene. It looks like something pulled out straight out of a Kurosawa film. You know, if you just put it in black and white, it definitely feels like a homage to it, because Onimusha itself was a homage to the old Jiraigeki samurai films as well. So you definitely feel that energy. And then it goes on as saying it's not your fault, and it just sees the whole group just almost like they lost the fight. And the girl, she's you know, has like ashes on her, and the monk from earlier in the trailer is just, his skin is just burned off. Like, wow. And it looks like the story isn't going to be, you know, a perfect journey. It looks like people are going to die and just get hurt in the process. And it goes on as saying it's not your fault. Tear falls on the ground. This looks like that guy who doesn't like the samurai, and he's slowly dying. Who knows, he might become a monster. And then it goes on to saying the answer resides within you. And as it's going on, you see Musashi and his sword having a bit of a little energy field, because I believe he's going to learn how to use the gauntlet properly. And then it goes to the girl like in a black backdrop. Maybe it's her activating her powers, not too sure, but it definitely feels like it. And then it goes back and forth between some of the party members and her, and going quickly back and forth. And even looks like Musashi taking an arrow in the hand to protect her, because it looks like they're trying to assassinate her as well. And then this big monster with looks like a carriage in the back in a coliseum with just a whole bunch of monsters. So who that's going to be crazy. And then we finally get into what I can finally talk about now. What is the point of the gauntlet? Well, in Onimusha, the point of the gauntlet is to grab souls and to specifically kill those monsters. The monsters have a name, and they're called Genma. They're a very specialized kind of demon, and something that the Oni have a major grudge. Now, this scene is really paramount because usually the wielder of the gauntlet is usually bestowed it from the actual Oni themselves, but they're like in their own little place. This is very reminiscent of the first game. In fact, it's an exact one-to-one, but instead of Samanosuke, it is now Musashi. And it's just a wonderful throwback. This really sucked me into the trailer. And as he gets stronger by killing the Genma and sucking the souls in the gauntlet. And if he gets enough of them, or strong enough souls, he can finally transform into the Onimusha. And as you can see now, the monsters that have been on this trailer have been nothing but Genma, and these are pretty much the foot soldiers, you know, these are the basic Genma. And it seems like the plot's gonna be revolving around a lot of mystery, including the question for me is, are they able to turn people into Genma now? That's really mysterious. I mean, as the trailer's going on, we're seeing one of the monks throw like a firebomb or a cocktail, and it just causes a giant explosion in the village. Maybe this is what causes him to get burn marks on him. And it's going to be a very violent affair. We see another Genma using its tongue or blood with its tongue. And then moving on to, well, what if in that process you become a broken human being? Is this journey gonna make Musashi realize something about himself? Or does he already feel a negative way about himself? Because he quickly goes on with all these action scenes to say that he's already a broken man. Maybe this journey and also protecting the girl is going to make him realize he's so much more than what he is. And from the looks of it, it's going to be just so much action. I can't, like, all these scenes just look amazing. And then we have the young girl crying because just judging from what's going on, there's just going to be a whole lot of basically life-scarring events for her before she can know really any peace. And then at the end of it all, we have her looking out from the village at Musashi, and it's just a wonderful shot. And then it transitions into Onimusha, but very much in a black and white style that honors the Akira Kurosawa films that influenced the series. Thank you very much. This is a wonderful surprise, very left field. I've been a fan of Onimusha since I was a child, you know. I have the PS2 games, and I've beaten most of them. 1 and 2, especially 2 is my favorite in the series. Demon Siege was what got me into it, and to see it come back in an animated form is just a blessing. What's funny though is that when I was younger, if they ever made a new Onimusha game, I always thought that Toshiro Mifune would have been perfect to be the main character, and it looks like I wasn't the only one who thought about that. I'm going to keep definitely a close eye on this. I'm a really big Onimusha fan. It's one of my favorite franchises from Capcom, especially next to Mega Man, and it's right up there as one of my all-time favorites. And there's just so much I'm looking forward to, and I know that they won't let any of us down. I have a feeling this is going to be a real amazing treat. Okay, there was so much to analyze, but this time I was just fan gushing. This was just, like I said, a treat, everybody. Until next time, this is Neo Belmont signing off, telling everyone, have a nice night.